Today's practice is going to be a great beginner class. So, there is a saying by William Wordsworth that says, "To begin, you must begin." So, this is the beginning. And so, it is said that it takes 21 days just to start a new habit. And so, this program is going to be set up to build those habits, to build your strength, your mobility, and to help you tune inward and feel into your body. We live in a world where we're disconnected from everything. We forget that we are actually creatures. We are actually animals. And we are supposed to be connected to the rhythms, the cycles, to understand ourselves, to understand the world around us. Um, so this is to help kind of anyone. You don't have to be a yogi per se. You don't have to be even an active person. It can be for anyone. So we're going to start where you're at and begin to build from there. So I will remind you of that often, but each day you show up on your mat, each day you show up to move your body will be different. You may have had a little less sleep. It may be that you didn't sleep right last night and in a different position. And so I want you to really welcome yourself to where you're at each day and follow along. I always say this is kind of like Twister for adults. So I will literally walk you through step by step, telling you right hand here, left hand here, right foot there, left foot there. And we'll build the postures up from the ground. So we'll start with your feet, we'll start with your knees, your hips, up through your belly, your shoulders, and then up into your head, your crown. So to start, we're going to come into what's called child's pose. And for this, we're going to bring our big toes together, our knees out wide. And you can even give a little rock side to side, allow your hips and pelvis to begin to open here. And then keeping the body long, you can extend the arms out onto your mat. You can allow your forehead to rest on the mat, or you can bring your elbows wide, hands stacked, resting your forehead on stacked hands. Wherever you're at, you're going to begin to allow the low back to melt down from the hips. Allow your shoulders to soften. And then you're going to imagine as if your body is melting down through into the floor. So letting any tension, any resistance in the body, you may notice that you kind of feel like you're hovering here. Let your body become heavy. This is where we begin to let go. We begin to allow the body to find that natural rhythm of relaxation. And we'll close the eyes and begin to notice the natural breath. So just notice how your body's breathing. What areas of the body move as you breathe. And we're not judging in any way here. We're just simply noticing, simply noting how the breath and body are communicating. Breathing is an involuntary process in your body, but we can help to ease our mind by tuning into the breath. It is said that the mind rides on the waves of the breath. And so as we slow the breath, so too we slow the mind. On your next breath, you're going to draw the breath in through the nose. And we're going to send it down into the belly. Feel the belly fill up. Allow it to soften and release down towards your mat as the belly fills up with breath. Allowing your diaphragm to expand. And as you exhale, let yourself sink in. Every part of the body melting, releasing, letting go. And then into the belly once again. This time we're also going to begin to fill the breath through the rib cage. So front, side, and back ribs expanding. So belly soft, diaphragm opens, ribs expanding in all directions, and then once again, exhale, sink, release, let your body become heavy as your mind becomes light. And breathing into the belly once again, rib cage expanding, rising this time all the way up into the collarbones, and then exhaling, sinking, releasing. And this is your 3-part breath, your 3-part yogic breath, consisting of breathing into the belly, the rib cage, and the collarbones. And as you exhale, let the breath just naturally release. So as you move through your practice, this will be the focus. Today, a simple 3-part breath, and you'll find that your mind will wander. You'll begin to get distracted, and each time, just bring yourself back to the breath. And if this feels a little agitating because it seems so simple, that's okay. It's simple, but yet most of our population does not breathe fully, which restricts the rib cage, which causes tension through the ribs, the shoulder, the neck. And this is why it is so important to get back to the basics, and that's what this class will be about today. So we're going to take 3 more breaths, our 3-part breath, breathing into the belly, ribs expanding 3-dimensionally, rising into the collarbones, and then exhaling, sinking, releasing, the entire body melting. 2 more times, breathing in belly, ribs, and collarbones, exhaling, letting yourself unwind. Last one. And on your next inhale, you're going to slowly rise up. Coming up to all fours, we'll spread fingers wide, stacking wrists, elbows, and shoulders, and hips above the knees. We're going to slide the shoulders down the back, and then we're going to tuck the tail, tuck the chin as we exhale, the center of the back extending towards the sky. And then as you inhale, you're going to lift your tail. So you're going to imagine a tail out the back side of the body, that tail lifting, so hips tilting to lift that tail up the wall behind you, shoulders sliding down the back, gazing forward as you inhale, and then exhaling, the tail tucks, the back rounds, the chin tucks into the chest, exhaling here, inhaling, tail lifts. Allow the hips to move, the spine to unwind, shoulders down the back, inhaling forward. Exhaling, tail tucks. Allow the back to round, chin tucked into chest. And inhaling, tail lifts. Gazing forward, shoulders down the back. One more time, each direction. Fingers spread wide, pressing into the pads of the fingertips. That will take some pressure off of the wrists here. Exhaling. Inhaling, tail lifts. Shoulders sliding down the back, gazing forward. And then finding your neutral spine. From here, you're going to tuck the toes, and we're going to rise up into our down dog. We're going to press back into the left heel, bending the right knee. As we inhale, we'll shift through center to press the right heel back on an exhale. Left knee bend. Inhaling through center. Exhaling, pressing back. Beginning to open up the backside of the body here, taking your time. And one more each side. And then allowing both heels to press back, the tail lifted, shoulders sliding up the back, elbows turning to center. So in down dog, you'll often see people kind of shifting through, pressing as hard as they can back, and you'll notice the shoulders are unsafe. Everything about that is kind of unsafe and not advisable. So what I want you to do is bend your knees if you need to. Lift that tail. So again, imagine that tail coming out the back of the body. Imagine it lifting up towards the ceiling and start there. That turn of the elbows towards the center of the mat helps to keep your shoulders nice and strong. The chin tucks to look back towards the toes. And then once you're here, if you wish, you can begin to try to press the heels back, lengthening through the legs. But again, keeping those hips lifted is even more beneficial. So don't worry about whether there's a bend in the knees. Don't worry that the shoulders are actually holding you. Well, I'm going to have a cat always coming to visit me while I do this. So, meet Buddy. And we're going to breathe here. 3 breaths here are 3-part breath. Inhaling in to the belly, the ribs expanding, rising into the collarbones, and then exhaling. Let yourself sink in. 2 more times. And 1 more time. And we're going to slowly walk forward. And you can rise up onto your fingers here. We're going to sit down, so however that looks to you. From here, I'm going to need to turn to face. We're going to cross the legs. So if the legs are up, you can use support. So work with what you've got, but if you have a couple of yoga blocks, they're very helpful to help support the body. We're going to place them under the knees. We're going to bring hands into heart center, and we're going to inhale to extend the arms skyward. Exhaling, we'll turn to face the right side. Right arm releasing back, left arm forward, looking over the right shoulder and allowing the crown to lift as you extend the spine all the way from the hips up through the top of the crown. And exhaling there. Inhaling, we'll come back to center. Exhaling, we'll twist to the left side. Left arm behind you, looking out over the left shoulder. Shoulders releasing. And that's the exhale. So we're going to begin to move with the breath here. So inhaling up. Exhaling to turn right side. Right arm back, left arm forward. Inhaling to center. Exhaling to the left. Inhaling forward. Exhaling right. Inhaling forward. Exhaling. Inhaling center. Exhaling to the right. Last one each side. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, turning to the left side. And then back through center, hands sinking down through heart center. And from here, you're going to extend your right leg out, bringing the left foot to the inside of the right leg. We're going to square the hips. So we're going to turn the body so that the body is facing that right extended leg, the toes drawn back towards the shin. Our fingers tend here, and we're going to lift the crown as the shoulders slide down the back. 2 breaths here. Breathing in belly, ribs, collarbones. Exhaling, sinking, releasing. 1 more breath. Inhaling, belly, ribs, collarbones. Exhaling, releasing. On your inhale, we'll extend the arms overhead And keeping them beside the ears here, will then hinge forward, leading with the belly button. So that little bit of a hinge with the hips. We'll keep the arms beside the ears as we extend the body forward as much as we can. And again, find where you're at today. You're going to then keep the arms beside the ears as long as you can, and then allowing the upper body to release, the arms to soften. Chin tucked into chest. Right toes drawn back towards the shin. We'll let ourselves sink in here as we find our breath. And we're going to stay here for 10 breaths. So you can simply remind yourself breathing in, belly, ribs, collarbones, exhaling, releasing. And it will help if you say that to yourself kind of as a little mantra, a little reminder within your mind each breath. If you begin to drift or lose that focus, that is okay. Simply bring yourself back by saying breathing and focusing once again. Allow your chin to tuck, shoulders to release, continuing with your breath. And on your exhale, chin remains tucked into the chest, slowly rising up. From here, we'll bring the left foot onto the mat, the right leg to the center of your mat. We'll cross the left leg over the right. Then taking the right arm, we'll wrap it around the left leg. And then starting from the waist, just like we did in our twist, we're going to open from the waist, the ribs opening, the shoulder opening. We'll place the left hand behind and allow the left hand to slide in towards the body so that you can press the heel of the left hand into the mat as you rise through the top of the crown. The right thumb and middle finger can come together gently. It's called a mudra, and it doesn't really matter what we believe exactly, but it's an intention. It's connecting energies of our body. There's so much ancient wisdom in yoga, and whether you want to believe in that or not, that is okay. It's simply a great way to set the intention of having more patience. So Shuni Mudra helps to cultivate patience, and Lord knows we could all use that. So allow your shoulders to slide down your back, crown lifts, and the right toes drawing back towards the shin, connecting with your 3-part breath. The eyes can close if you wish, allowing the tongue to rest where the top teeth meet the gum line. And then slowly coming back to center. From here, you're going to release the left leg onto the right. So again, if you have a block, you can place it underneath that left hip for a little bit of support. And you can stay right here. If your legs are a little bit tight, this is a great spot to stay. Or if you wish to take it a little bit further, what you're going to do is you're going to cross the right foot underneath the left. And we're going to allow the feet to extend out to the sides. And this is shoelace pose. So this is a little more advanced. So if you're not here, that's okay. I'm going to always give you options. So I will set you up, tell you that you can stay there, or is an option. Then you can take it to a little further, and that will be the way I teach throughout. So always remember you have options here. And once we're here, we're going to square the hips, whether the right leg is extended or not. And then we're going to lift the right arm overhead, bringing the right hand down between the shoulder blades. We'll bring the left hand to the low back, walking the left hand up towards the right, and not worrying whether the hands are touching. If they are, great. If they're not, that's great too. So we're going to extend the right elbow skyward, left elbow sinking down towards the mat, feeling into the center of your belly. So in to your belly button. We're going to engage the abs as we extend the body, lifting through the top of the crown. And then we're going to close the eyes, or a gentle gaze down just to the front edge of your mat. Let your hips and legs release, the feet soften. And you're going to breathe here. 10 breaths once again. And as you breathe, I will just explain why we hold the breaths. So for me in particular, I like to teach where we feel into our body. And if we're moving too fast, which often in life we are, we're not actually connected to our body. We're not living within our body. We're kind of just going, and our body's just keeping up and following along. Where I want you to feel what your body is feeling. And sometimes that cannot be the greatest, and that's okay. At least noticing where you're feeling it is important in being able to help it, to heal it, and to change it. So, feeling into the body as you breathe here. Notice any resistance, any tension. And just imagining with each breath that resistance softening. And slowly releasing the right arm, unwinding the left. You can place the hands on the mat to unwind the legs, the left leg extending out to the side this time, right foot to the inside of the left leg. We'll square the hips to the left leg, taking 2 breaths here. Remembering belly, ribs, and collarbones, shoulders sliding down the back as you exhale. 1 more breath here. And on your inhale, arms overhead. We'll keep the arms beside the ears. Inhaling, and as you exhale, hinging forward with the belly button, leading with the belly button, the upper body extending, keeping the arms beside the ears until you find your edge. Then allowing the body to soften. Chin tucks into chest, the arms release. You can hold on to wherever your hands land, or you can tent the fingers or place the hands down on the mat, whatever feels best to you. And with the chin tucked into chest, connecting with your breath, left toes drawing back towards the shin. Breathing here. And on your exhale, chin tucked into chest, slowly rising up. We'll bring the right foot to the mat, left leg to the center of your mat, right crossing over left this time. We'll take the left arm, wrapping it around the right leg. And then from here, we can open from the waist, the shoulders, Gazing out over the right shoulder, allowing the right hand to slide in so that we can press into the heel of the right hand, rising up through the top of the crown. Left thumb, middle finger together, Shuni Mudra once again. And as you allow the hips to soften here, finding your breath. And exhaling slowly back to center. So we can release the right leg this time, using a block under the right thigh. Or option, once again, to take the left leg under the right, allowing the feet to open out to the sides, squaring the hips here, rising up through the top of the crown, shoulders down the back. We'll inhale, left arm overhead, left hand releasing between the shoulder blades, bringing the right hand to the low back, then walking that right hand up with the intention of the fingers kind of reaching towards one another or possibly locking. We'll release the right elbow down to the mat, left elbow extending skyward, sensing into the center of your spine. Feel that center as you rise up. We can close the eyes, tongue resting where the top teeth meet the gum line. Allow your jaw and cheeks to soften, connecting with your breath. And slowly releasing the arms once again. We'll unwrap the legs. And then we're going to extend both legs out long. You can move kind of the fleshy bits to ground your sit bones into the mat. From here, drawing the toes back towards the shin. You're going to then extend through the top of the crown, so a little shift of the hips. You may bring kind of the thighs back into the body. Heels can press into the mat here. And as much as this looks like we're just sitting here, you may notice this is a lot more difficult than just sitting here. So you can bring your hands down at your sides for support. A gentle bend in the elbows remains, shoulders sliding down the back. Allow the crown to extend. And we're just going to take 3 breaths here. And this is just to kind of check in and make note of where you're at today. We're going to come back to this pose and other poses just to see where we're at. Because as we begin to feel into our body and notice the changes, it helps to encourage us to keep going. So, although this may not feel super encouraging today, just notice how you're feeling, what your body's feeling, and maybe what your mind may be telling you. One more breath. And then inhaling, we'll extend the arms overhead, keeping the arms beside the ears, leading forward with the belly button, and then extending, keeping the arms beside the ears as we reach the upper body over the legs. When you find your edge, allow your chin to tuck, arms to release, and then allowing your hands to come to wherever they land. So we don't want to be reaching here. So we don't want to be keeping that real reach on the arms and shoulders. I want you to actually soften your shoulders, allow your elbows to soften, Place your hands wherever they land, keeping the chin tucked into chest and finding your breath. And on your exhale, chin tucked into chest, slowly rising. We're going to bring the feet around to either side, coming on to all fours once again. We're going to tuck the toes, shifting up and back into our down dog once again. A bend in the knees, tail lifted. We're going to inhale here. And as we exhale, we'll look forward, slowly walking forward. Allow your fingers to peel off the mat. And I'm going to use blocks. If you don't have blocks, make do. Find something that gives you a little bit of kind of leverage. So it could be a stool. It could be, a couple of cans from the cupboard. Make do with what you've got. We're going to place them at the front, and then we're going to hold the backs of the legs. Allow the chin to tuck into chest. Once again, just checking in here. So allow the elbows to bend. Allow the upper body to sink down, and notice where you're at. Notice how the back of the legs feel, how the feet feel right and left foot. Chin tucked deep into the chest. One more breath. On your exhale, you're going to keep the chin tucked into chest, and you're going to slowly rise up to standing. And at standing, we're going to inhale, arms overhead, extending through the fingertips. We're going to then hinge forward, leading forward, keeping the arms beside the ears. We'll find a 90-degree angle with the body. So the upper body is extended, the legs are extended, the tail. So again, that tail lifting up the wall behind you. And then we're going to slowly release, allowing the arms to sink down towards the legs. You can place the hands behind the back of the legs wherever you're at. A gentle bend in the elbows, chin tucked into chest. Exhaling here. Inhaling here. Exhaling once again. So we're going to take this nice and slow. 2 breaths each pose. Inhaling, fingers tent. We're going to look forward. Shoulders sliding down the back. Exhaling. Let yourself sink into the feet. One more breath here. And as you exhale, we're going to bend the knees, bringing the hands down to the mat, stepping both feet back. Option to lower to the knees here. Elbows in at the sides. We're going to lower down to the belly. On our belly, we're going to extend, pointing the toes out behind, elbows under shoulders. We'll slide the shoulders down the back, the crown lifted. 2 breaths here. As we inhale, we'll rise up through the top of the crown, using the breath to fill the belly, the ribs, and the collarbones. As you exhale, sink into the elbows. One more breath here. Inhaling, belly, ribs, collarbones, the shoulders sliding down the back. Exhaling, sinking into the elbows and releasing, bringing hands under shoulders, toes tuck, elbows in at the sides. We're going to press up and back and landing in our down dog here. We'll lift the tail. Inhaling here, exhaling, sinking in. One more breath. Inhaling. And as we exhale, we can look forward, slowly walking the feet forward. Fingers tent on our blocks, our supports, tail lifted. We'll take 2 breaths here. And on the exhale, releasing into your forward fold once again. Hands behind the legs, a gentle bend in the elbows, drawing the upper body towards the legs. So bending the knees if you need to here. Allow the chin to tuck into chest. 2 breaths. 1 more. And on your exhale, you can release the hands, chin tucked into chest, slowly rising up. We'll inhale, arms overhead. Exhaling, hands down at your sides. And that is called a sun salutation. So we will be working on those. We're going to do 2 of them today. So this one we're going to move with each breath. So be kind with yourself. Inhaling, arms overhead. Exhaling, tail lifts. Hinging forward, arms beside the ears. We're going to slowly release down, hugging the backs of the legs, chin tucks. Inhaling, fingers tent, looking forward. Exhaling, bending knees, hands down to the mat, stepping back. Elbows in at the sides. Option to lower to the knees if you wish. You're going to lower down. Elbows under shoulders, fingers spread wide. We're going to press into the elbows as the belly fills up with breath. The ribs expand, rising through the collarbones, shoulders sliding down the back. Exhaling, hands under shoulders, elbows in at the sides, toes tuck, pressing up and back into your down dog. Inhaling in your down dog. Exhaling, looking forward, slowly walking forward. Fingers tent, inhaling to look forward. Exhaling to fold. Bending the knees, arms up to the sides. Inhaling, rising up. Exhaling, arms down to the sides. And from here, we're going to inhale up once again. Arms out wide, heart this time is going to lead forward. So the arms are going to come out to the sides, and we're going to use this to open the heart and chest, allowing the hands to release down to the mat. We'll bend the knees, fingers tent, and we're going to step the right foot back. And when you land here, I want you to check in because we're about to rise up into a warrior series, it's called. And as a warrior, just like in boxing or any of those kind of fighter stances, we want to make sure that we have a good base. So the right foot is on the right side of the mat. So you imagine that line down the center of the mat, right foot on the right side, left foot on the left side. As you rise up, hands coming to heart center, we're going to intend the right hip forward, left hip back. Palms gently together at heart center. We'll draw the belly button into the spine, creating a nice strong core here. Shoulders sliding down the back, sinking into that left front knee. And we're going to hold this for a while. So you can keep your hands here, or option to inhale, arms overhead, fingers extending towards the ceiling. I like to imagine as if I'm holding onto a large ball overhead, and then allow the weight of that imaginary ball to sink the shoulders down the back. Finding your breath here. As you inhale, we're going to press into the left leg to extend the left leg, reaching out, keeping the arms beside the ears. We'll then extend to wrap our fingers around kind of the front edge of our prop. We'll allow the upper body to extend even more as we tuck the chin into the chest, shoulders open, arms extended. And we're going to send the breath into that left hamstring. So you will be feeling that left hamstring, and that is a good thing here. With each breath, gently reminding yourself, what you resist persists. So We're going to begin to work on these hamstrings. They're often an area of a lot of tension in everyone as we often sit and move in ways, and the hamstrings don't get the attention that they should to release. So this often causes low back issues. So we will be focusing in on the hamstrings, and it's okay, it's natural, it's to be expected that your mind will resist this, probably even start to curse me a little. That's okay, I can take it. But I want you to stay with this, allowing it to gently soften. If you need, that knee can be bent a little bit. But if the knee is bent, I want you to still be imagining that tail lifting up the wall behind you. So use the length that you have, however that looks, to allow the hamstring to gently soften. And 5 more breaths. And then shifting forward, we're going to bring our hands, our props, to the inside of that left leg. We'll shift the hips forward, lowering the right knee, right toe. From here, you can allow the shoulders to slide down the back as the heart and chest lifts, the crown extending skyward. Breathing here, allowing the hips and pelvis to open. The eyes can close, tongue resting where the top teeth meet the gum line. We'll shift the weight into the right hand, a gentle bend in the right elbow, bringing the left hand to the left knee. We can encourage the left knee out to the left side. That left foot may even roll onto its side. That's okay. We'll allow the left elbow to soften, left shoulder to release, and then looking out over the left shoulder, breathing here. And slowly bringing the left leg back to center, gazing forward. We'll bring the left hand down onto your prop. You can tuck the right toes, and we're going to rise up, lowering the right heel on a slight angle once again. We're going to check the stance, check the feet, right foot right side, left foot left side. And as we rise up, we'll extend the right arm back, left arm forward, the hips opening to the long edge of your mat. So you may even need to flare that right foot out a little bit more, and that's okay. Do what you need to encourage the hips to open. The arms will extend, reaching out through the fingertips, extending towards the front and back side of the room you're in. Let your shoulders soften, crown extended, sinking into the left bent knee. And if you can, just take a little quick peek down at that left knee to ensure that it is stacked above the ankle. So often the left knee begins to kind of roll in towards the center of your mat. So kind of shifting or pressing that left knee out to the left side to keep it stacked. And we're going to do 3 more breaths here. The left palm turning to face the ceiling. We'll inhale, extending that left arm overhead, looking up to the left fingertips. Exhaling back down to parallel. And we're going to do 4 more. Inhaling, looking up. Exhaling back. Inhaling up. Exhaling. 2 more. Inhaling. Exhaling. Last one. And from here, we're going to press into that left leg once again. We're going to imagine if we're reaching over an imaginary tabletop, we'll lower the left hand down. You can place it on a block. You can even stack your blocks here. Creating some support, we'll extend the right arm skyward. And we want that right shoulder opening up like a book. So you can even bring the right hand back down to the side. We'll then open that right arm up, keeping that alignment with the shoulder, the arms stacked, and gazing up to the right fingertips, as long as there's no discomfort in the neck or shoulder. So if there is, allow the gaze to come down to the right edge of your mat. Finding what feels best to you today and breathing here. And releasing the right hand down to meet the left. We're going to then pivot the right toes around. We can tent the fingers on the mat. We can hop that right foot forward, or we can step the right foot forward to meet the left. Pausing in our forward fold, 2 breaths before we switch to the other side. Chin tucked into chest, hugging the backs of the legs, breathing here. And we'll bend the knees. The hands can tent on the mat or blocks. From here, we're going to step back. So again, if we need to move that right foot over to the right side, as we step the left leg back onto the left side, we're going to rise up into our warrior one. So left hip intending forward, right hip back. Sinking into the right bent knee, belly button into the spine. Hands can come together at heart center, shoulders sliding down the back, or option to extend the arms overhead, imagining that large ball overhead, sinking the shoulders down the back. Once again, finding your breath. We'll then press into the right front leg, arms beside the ears as we shift forward, allowing the upper body to keep that length and extension. Fingers wrap around the front edge of your props, left hip sinking down towards the mat slightly. Length all the way through the top of the crown as we tuck the chin into chest, allowing the arms and shoulders to extend here as we sink in. Once again, reminding ourselves what we resist persists. So allow that resistance in the hamstring to soften and release. And then bending your right knee, you can shift forward, bringing both hands to the inside of the right foot. We'll shift forward with the hips and pelvis, then lowering left knee, left toe. Arms open, lots of space here to allow the heart and chest to rise up, shoulders to slide down the back, crown lifted, connecting with your breath. And shifting the weight into the left hand, we'll bring the right hand to the right knee, allowing the right knee to release out to the side. We'll soften the right elbow, looking out over the right shoulder, breathing here. And slowly coming back to center here. We'll tuck the left toes, lowering the left heel on a generous angle. So we may even have the left toes out to the side quite a bit here. As we rise up, we'll bring the left arm back, right arm forward, sinking and bending into the right front knee, right knee stacked above the right ankle, arms extending to the front and back wall of the room you're in, the shoulders sinking, belly button into spine, and then gazing out over the right front fingertips. Breathing here. Two more breaths. And the right palm turning to face the ceiling. We'll inhale, sending the right arm overhead, looking up to the right fingertips. Exhaling back to parallel, both arms. Inhaling up, looking up. Exhaling back to parallel. So as you inhale that arm up, the left arm slowly releases behind you. Exhaling back. Inhaling up. Exhaling back to parallel. From here, we're going to press into the right front leg, reaching over that imaginary tabletop with the right hand. We'll lower the right hand down. Again, you can use your blocks. Stack your blocks if you need to here, because we want to open the hips to the wall beside you as the left fingertip extends skyward, looking up to the left fingertips, as long as there's no discomfort in neck or shoulders, or down to the outer edge on the left side of your mat. Breathing here. And lowering the left hand down to meet the right. We'll pivot onto the left toes. Fingers tent on the mat. We can hop that left foot forward or step the left foot forward. Finding your forward fold, 2 breaths. Noticing right and left side. Noticing if you're feeling a little more balanced. If your hips are feeling a little more free. 1 more breath. And then from here, we're going to heel toe the feet to the outer edge of your mat. And we're going to step back to bring the feet to the middle of the mat. From here, you're going to lower down. You can keep the hands on the mat for support, or you can bring your hands into heart center as you sink down. And we're in a wide-legged squat here. And what you may notice is it may look very different, and that's okay. So sometimes you can be up. If the legs are very tight, that's okay, or hips are tight. Find where you're at. The ankles can be up, so the heels off of the mat. The heels can sink back. This is going to not only depend on your own mobility and flexibility, but it's also going to depend on your body type and your bone structure. So try not to worry about looking a certain way in these postures. It's more about finding the edge or where you're at today and then settling in there. So find where you're at today. Hands can be gently together at heart center. If you're up quite a bit, you can even use a chair for support here, and you can allow yourself to settle in there using that chair as support. Use props, use support. The hands can rest gently together if that's available. Elbows pressing into the knees, knees into elbows, the hips and pelvis sinking down towards your mat. Crown lifted, tail releases. And we're going to breathe here. And then from here, we're going to shift forward to bring the hands on to the mat. So from here, you're going to just shift the body forward and you can stay right here. So this is going to help to build some strength in the upper body. We're going to actually draw the shoulders down the back, elbows generously bent here. You can shift a bit of the weight of the legs into the elbows if you wish for a little bit more of a challenge. Because eventually we're going to begin to come up onto the toes and then eventually lift the toes to hover in crow. So this is where we're going, but I want you to find where you're at today. So again, this is day one. Try not to have expectations. Try to find where you're at, building your strength there. 3 more breaths. And releasing back. If you have blocks, you're going to bring them with you. And another option is a strap, which can be a belt, it could be an old tie. Find what you have and work with that. So we're going to bring all of those to the right side to start. We're going to lower down onto the back. From here, you can place your hands at your sides. We're going to press into the heels as we lift the hips and pelvis skyward. Option to stay right here, hands at your sides, or you can shift the shoulders underneath to possibly clasp the hands behind you. As you sink into the heels here, tail pressing up as the hips extend towards the sky. And as you breathe here, you can watch the belly rise and fall with each breath. And releasing the arms and slowly lowering one vertebra at a time down to your mat. From here, we're going to hug the knees into chest, giving a little rock side to side. And you'll notice as you bring the knees away from the body, you can work the massage down into the tailbone, the sacrum, and as you hug the knees into chest, you can kind of give a little self-massage into the low back and hips. So remembering this, anytime that you're feeling a little tension in the low back, the hips, or the sacrum. And we're going to find center. From here, you can reach between the legs. We're going to take the peace fingers, which are the index and middle finger. We're going to wrap them around the big toe, placing the thumb on the end of the big toe, and then allowing the feet to extend We'll bring the feet to footprint the ceiling, allowing yourself to release here. Arms soften and extending. 3 more breaths. And exhaling back to center. We'll lower the right foot down to the mat, left ankle to the right knee. We'll reach between the legs with the left hand and wrapping the right hand around the outside of the right leg. So we're hugging that right knee. So another option is to hug the right knee in and then wrap the left ankle over top. If you're finding that your head's off the mat or you're really reaching or struggling here, this is where your strap comes in handy. So we can take that strap, place it on the right knee, wrap the hands around the strap, and try not to really wrap and pull and struggle. We want that strap to just gently rest there. Place your hands around it, thumbs pointing up. Create length in the arms here, and then allow the elbows to just gently soften. Chin tucked into chest. We're going to press the left knee away from the body as the left toes draw back towards the shin. The left glute and hip sinking down towards your mat. And finding your breath. Eyes can close, tongue resting at top teeth and gum line. Allow yourself to begin to kind of settle in. You've done the hard work now. Now this is just kind of the cool down relaxation before our final relaxation pose. Releasing the right foot to the mat. Left thigh crossing over the right. Arms can extend out wide from heart center. And we're going to press into the right foot so that our hips are hovering. So with the hips hovering here, you're going to shift the hips so that the right sinks into the center of your mat. Then you're going to release both knees to the right side. So this is where I like to sometimes place a block under that left knee for a little bit of support. We want a nice, gentle, low back twist, but we don't want too much pull here. Again, this can be an area of tension, so take it easy and allow your body to gently open here as your practice builds. From here, your chin can tuck into chest, or you can lift the head to look over the left side. Keeping the length all the way through the spine as you twist. And then allowing yourself to fully release, letting everything go. And slowly bringing your gaze back to center if you were twisted, then bringing legs back to center, pressing into the right foot to shift that right hip out. We'll uncross the legs, switching to the other side, the right ankle to the left knee. We'll reach between the legs to hug the left knee into chest, chin tucked into chest. Right toes drawing back towards the shin, right knee moving away from the body. Sinking the right glute down into the mat. Chin tucked, breathing here. Eyes can close, tongue resting at top teeth and gum line. And releasing the left foot down to the mat, right thigh crossing over the left. You can move your block to the left side, arms opening from heart center, pressing into the left foot, the hips will hover, left hip shifting to center, and then releasing both knees to the left side, using your block or using a support to support that right knee. So we encourage a gentle low back twist. From here, you can tuck the chin, gazing at center, eyes can close, or lifting the head, you can shift to look over the right shoulder, letting go, breathing here. And slowly bringing your gaze back to center if it wasn't there already. And then we're going to shift to lift the knees, pressing into the left foot to shift the left hip out and uncrossing the legs. From here, we're going to move into our final relaxation pose. So your feet can come out to the outer edges of the mat. Your knees can rest together, or you can even extend the legs out long, palms facing up, shoulders sinking down into the mat. You may even want to grab a little blanket here. And you're going to remain right here. I'm going to rise up just to talk you into a relaxation. So from here, allow your eyes to close. You're going to take 3 cleansing breaths. So inhaling in through the nose. We'll open the mouth. Exhaling with a sigh. 2 more. Opening the mouth. Last one. Releasing the breath, allowing your body to naturally breathe you. We'll sense into the soles of the feet and softly releasing out each toe. The ankles gently soften. Calves melting away from shins. The kneecap releases. Thighs, hips, and hamstrings melting and releasing. The belly soft. The pelvis releases. The glutes sinking in. The low back gently softening. As the ribs move freely with the breath. The mid to upper back softly sinking into your mat. Heart open, the shoulders sink, reminding yourself that you do not have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You can let go. Upper arms release to elbows, forearms to wrists. And sensing into the palm of each hand. We'll take a moment to sense out into the fingertips. And then bringing your attention and awareness back to the palms of the hands. Rising up the arms to the elbows and shoulders. Slowly drawing your energy back to heart center. You can allow your energy to sink down into the body, cleansing away any tension or stress. As your awareness rises up, the throat open, neck soft. Tongue resting where the top teeth meet the gum line, the jaw and cheeks soften. The eyes still behind the eyelids, the brow gently releases. forehead softening, and then making your way through the scalp, slowly to the top of the crown. And then imagining a wave of relaxation building at the top of the crown. As you exhale, allow that wave to wash over you, washing away any residual tension, any stress. Allow that wave to wash over you as many times and with as much ease or intensity as you wish, to wash away anything that you no longer need to carry. Let go. And then slowly we'll begin to wiggle fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, stretching or moving in any way that your body desires. And as you feel ready, you can slowly make your way to either side and then up to a comfortable seated position. In yoga, we say namaste. So we bring our hands together at our heart and we say namaste, which means I see the good in you or the light in you, which is also in me. It is a gesture to honor the human that is within us, to be kind and to be aware. So namaste. Thank you.